some of the best nights I've ever had in Bangkok have been alone. I don't have an issue with not going out with other people. I can have a night out by myself, thoroughly enjoy myself out. I can also have a night out with friends and again enjoy myself. But if I'm out by myself, Tilac outside bar would definitely be on the agenda for me that evening, because it's a good place to have a few beers, and they have the happy hours, which I'll touch on later, so you can guess which one of the go-go bars I'm going to choose, but I'll talk about them happy hours in a bit. The next one, we're going back from Soi Cowboy back down to Soi 4 again, and a bit of an unusual one. I've actually opted to go for Hooters on Soi 4. There's a few reasons why I like Hooters. One, because it's actually on the opposite side of Nana Plaza, so you can actually see the same as you can see from Stumble and Big Dogs, but you get a bit of a different perspective because you're looking from the other side of the road, so that's quite interesting. Also, you can see into one or two of the bars opposite Hillary's and a few of the other ones. You can see what's going on there. As I said in other videos, I am a people watcher. I do like watching what's going on. What else about Hooters? You don't get hassled. If it's one of those, if you want to go out and you just don't want to be hassled by girls constantly approaching you, asking your name and where you're from, all that sort of thing, you can go in there and that doesn't happen. You can order a drink. The food's very, very good at Hooters. The waitresses that serve you, they're very pretty. I won't say anything more than that. So that's quite pleasant to be served by those girls, the waitresses there. And overall, it's just a nice experience. I wouldn't say it's somewhere you'd want to spend the evening if you're going out for a night out. Perhaps if you're with a group of friends, it wouldn't be a bad place to spend an evening. But on your own or two people, it's a nice place to meet, maybe have a bit of dinner and then move on. You wouldn't, as I say, I personally wouldn't stay there too long, maybe an hour. And number 5, my 5th favourite bar. Now this might be a little bit of an unusual one because I don't actually know the name of it. I think it's down Soi 7. It's opposite an establishment called Wood. And the less said about that place, the better, because it's YouTube, and I'd probably lose my channel if I described what that venue was about. But to anybody living in Bangkok, and you know the area, the Wood Bar, you'll know what that's famous for, and I'm not going to speak about it here. There's a beer bar opposite Wood. Soi 7, when I fancy something different. I mean, Soi 4, obviously, Sukhumvit, Soi 4 and Cowboy, they're definitely the happening places. So it's Soi 7, it can't really compete. I think it's Soi 7, it could be Soi 11 actually. It's the Soi where you go down there, they've got a few of these specialised bars on the right, and they've got normal beer bars on the left. I should really know, I just can't remember. I go down there all the time, but I just can't remember the number of the Soi. But it's opposite the Wood Bar, and it's just a typical outside beer bar. I like it. They've got a pool table. It's quite quiet, and sometimes I just fancy something different. You know, you can get fed up of hanging out in Stumble and Big Dogs and places like that. You know, you can get a bit fed up of it. It gets a bit repetitive. Sometimes it's nice just to do something totally different. And that bar that I'm trying to describe to you, that is a little bit, the beer bar's not that different, but it's the location. It's just a totally different location. So that's my top 5 as far as the beer bars go. So we're going to move straight into the go-go bars. Now that was my top 5 favourite beer bars. I'm now going to let you know which are my top 5 go-go bars. I don't particularly like go-go bars nowadays. When I first arrived in Bangkok when I was about 32, every night I was out, I was like a kid in a candy shop. It was great fun. But, you know, when you're touching 60, it kind of gets a little bit loud, repetitive, and I hate to use the word, but yes, boring. I prefer Hua Hin these days as opposed to Pattaya and, the real wild places. But I still like popping into these go-go bars occasionally. I don't go in them very often these days, but I do occasionally fancy a night out in go-go bars. And the ones that I still go into, I've written down a list of 5, and I'll give you the reasons why I like those 5. So number 1 on my list is the Tilac bar in Soi Cowboy. Always loved it. Fantastic bar. Me personally, I don't think there's a better bar. It's a good all-round bar. What I like about it is the air conditioning's fantastic in there. So you walk in, if you've been walking around all night, you go in there, it's real nice cold air conditioning, but you never freeze your nuts off, as it were. It doesn't get too cold. So that's good. It's a nice spacious bar. It's clean. The music's pretty good. They've got several of these stages. They've got quite a nice a lot of dancing girls. They've got quite a lot of coyote girls there. I've explained that in another video. And the other thing, and the great thing about Tilac Bar, there's probably a lot of bars that do happy hours, but I like the happy hour in Tilac Bar because, you know, I like to drink beer in the early part of the night, so I'll get drunk too quickly. So you can get a full pint of Heineken at happy hour for 90 baht, which I think is pretty good value in Bangkok these days. It's getting expensive, but 90 baht for a draft beer. And I think the happy hour goes till about 9 p.m. So Tilac Bar, I've always liked it. It's last, 28 years, 27 years I've been going there. I like it. It's a great bar. And if I go to Soy Cowboy, I'll spend a minimum of 1 to 2 hours in there, just because it's such a great bar. I feel very at home there. So that's my number one, Tilac Bar. Number two, we're going to stick with Soy Cowboy. My number two is Long Gun. Why do I like Long Gun? It's not the most sophisticated go-go bar in the world these days. It's an old venue. It's been there for about 30 years as far as I know. But what I like about Long Gun, it kind of takes me back to when I first got to Bangkok. I mean, you go into some of these bars, some of these go-go bars now in Nana Plaza, they've had millions and millions spent on them. They're almost on a par with something you'd get in London or New York, something like that. I'm talking about the sound systems and the decoration, the lighting systems and things like that. They're up there with the best of them. I like Long Gun. Like I say, it's a throwback to what the go-go bars used to be. Not very much at all. You've got a stage, some tiered seating. Your feet stick to the carpets as you walk in. But it's one of those sort of venues that just takes me back a little bit. And as I say, it's a personal top 10. It's not my recommendations. So Long Gun does get in there at number two. Number three, I've put After School. Again, that's in Cowboy. And again, that's another throwback. Can you class it as a go-go bar? Well, they have got a stage. They don't have the A-team dancing in there, that's for sure. They're kind of a little bit past their sell-by date, the ladies in there. Don't want to be derogatory, but you know what I mean, guys. It's hard to describe really why I like it. It's a dark venue when you go in. It takes you about 10 seconds before you can see anything. I don't know if they do that in purpose. But again, it's just a throwback to what the venues used to be like. When you went down to Soy Cowboy in the old days, 20 odd years ago, somewhere like Long Gun was the top bar. Was the best bar. So when you went into places like After School, and there was a lot of bars like that, you've still got Toy Bar across the road. There's a few other bars like that along the way. They can be pretty boring. It depends who's in there. But After School generally is good for 1 or 2 drinks. And the thing about that bar, you can have a really good laugh with the people who work in there. It's not, when you go into these sophisticated go-go bars in Nana, it's kind of like us and them, them being the staff and the girls, us being the walking ATM, the buffaloes, the punters. It's not so much like that in After School. It's more, you feel, well, it is, but you don't feel like that. You just feel like you're part of it, if that makes sense. So I still like After School. Number 4 is Bangkok Bunnies on the 3rd floor. I think I got the name right. It used to be called the Carousel Bar when it first opened up. You walk in and there's a revolving stage on your left and there's a kind of big jacuzzi on the right. Absolutely heaving. What do I like about that one? I'll tell you what it is. It's a strange one. I like to go in there when I'm by myself for a last couple of drinks. If I've been out with friends to Cowboy, we've all said a good night, so I've headed back to Nana. I generally stay in Soy 4, so I'll always pop in somewhere there for a couple before I actually head back to the hotel. And I generally like to head up to Bangkok Bunnies. It's just a really strange one. It doesn't matter what day of the week you go in. It doesn't matter what recessions are on, what's going on in Bangkok. It is always absolutely packed full of dancing girls, customers. I mean, it's just happening. It's like party every night. And what I like to do when I go in there, I'll go in and I'll sit at the bar by myself. I'll order a Black Label and Coke, soda Coke, and I'll just sit there and watch, and it's great fun. It takes me back. Again, it takes me back. It's one of the first bars I went into over 20 years ago, and I remember standing there with friends. Brings back good memories, but it's just a good place to finish. I like to see people enjoying themselves. You see these young guys going into the bar. They're probably no more than sort of 22, 23. The girls are screaming when they walk in because, handsome man and all that rubbish. But it's great, I mean, I like to see it. You'll see a bunch of young guys come in, the girls go berserk, and it's just a big party, and it's nice to see people enjoying themselves. I like to see it, so that's something that I enjoy. And again, my last one on the list, number 5, is a place called Billboard. That's kind of underneath Bangkok Bunnies. It's on the 2nd floor, and what I like about that place, they put on a lot of shows. Now, these shows don't impress me personally. I've been seeing these kind of shows for years and years, but what's important is they do make the effort, and sometimes it's difficult to remember. You do forget, if you live there or you've been there for a long time, you do tend to forget that, you know, arriving in Bangkok on your first day, it was very exciting, and it's very easy to forget that. So they put these shows on. It's a happening bar, and somebody who's come there for the first time, if they go in there, it's good fun for them to see. And as I say, I like to see people enjoying themselves. So if you get newbies entering that bar and you see the look on their face when these girls are in that big jacuzzi in there, it's quite it's quite nice to see. So overall, what is my totally favourite bar out of all the venues in Bangkok? Well, guys, I've got to tell you, it is Tilac Bar. It's just such a nice venue for me. I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather go, even in the earlier part of the night. I use it as a beer bar and a go-go bar. It's nice to go in there early. It's nice to go in there later. And personally, that's my overall favourite. So that's my top 10, guys. As I say, nothing very exciting today. It is a personal list. To those of you who have been asking me over the last few months, I hope you found that interesting.